Ms. Gutierrez, you are suing your mom for paternity fraud and claim she has named 4 different men to be your father. One of those men, Mr. McKenna, you have never met, and he is here today. You've had to put the pieces of your mom's puzzle together and hope today's result will be the final piece. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Sullivan, you testified that you did some questionable things in your past, but you are here to help your daughter get the closure she deserves. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So before we start, Jerome, can you please escort Mr. McKenna into the courtroom?
Yes. I'm gonna go right up to the witness stand next to the judge here. Up here.
Thank you. Hello, Judge.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. McKenna.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Gutierrez, I want to start with you. 4 possible fathers. 4.
Yes.
What has it been like living with this notion that you don't know which of 4 people could be your father?
It's been emotional, confusing. I'm embarrassed, especially because I'm a mom myself. So it's important for everyone to know whether that person's a part of their life, you know, where they come from.
And how has this affected your relationship with your mother?
It's been distant. I've been like, I'm kind of angry at her.
Ms. Gutierrez, talk to your mother about the hurt you felt.
I just felt there was a part of me missing. I felt like you didn't really care that I was hurting about not knowing, or you didn't think that it was important to me when it really was, whether that person was there for me or not. It's important to know where you come from. Who am I? Whose smile do I have? Whose laugh do I have? I mean, where do I get my sense of humor from? You know, it doesn't always come from you, it comes from them. And I feel like it's affected me, and even being a mother that I am now, you know, I can't tell my kids the truth because I don't know the truth.
Well, this is where we start telling truths so we can have a better understanding. Ms. Sullivan, 4 possible fathers. You submitted a timeline to the court. I'd like you to explain to the court how we got to this place.
I was dating my ex, who I met him at a restaurant that I worked at, and we were dating for a while. And then I found out that Mr. McKenna was going off to war, so I went to visit him where he lived at and spend the weekend with him before he went to war. Then I went back to my ex and was still dating him during that time, but then we broke up. And the weekend that we broke up, I went to go visit my sister, and I hooked up with Mr. Bryson. He was a friend years prior, a couple years prior, and so we just kept in touch. But when I went to visit my sister for that weekend, we were intimate that weekend.
Just one time, just that weekend?
Yes, just that weekend. And then I went back and was with my ex again. Then I decided to move back to my hometown. And the weekend that I moved back, I met Mr. Brown. And Mr. Brown and I started dating from the day that I moved there, and we stayed together for 5 years after that.
And all of this transpired within a 2-week window.
As far as I can remember, wow. Yes.
Which explains why we're here, involved in this case. So, Ms. Gutierrez, you were raised believing Mr. Brown was your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's okay, honey. Can you tell us, when did you find out Mr. Brown was not your biological father?
I was around 8 years old. And that's when the family member had said, I was there, she was watching me, and just blurted out, do I know that he's not my biological father? I questioned, and Perry was, I'm your dad, you know? So I went on, and I realized it, wasn't the truth. I remember going to a military base to take the picture for the insurance that I realized that was a different name.
Where would you see this different name?
On top of the insurance card. It had the first, middle initial, and the last.
And it was not?
It wasn't Perry. And then after that, I believe I talked to my mom, and that was when the ex was my dad. And I remember talking to him on the phone, and I cried because he said that he couldn't have anything to do with me. His wife didn't want him to have anything to do with me. Wow. And he wasn't even sure if he was my father.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Miss Sullivan, why didn't you tell your daughter about your ex? It was your ex.
I didn't tell her about him because he pretty much rejected her, or rejected the whole possibility that he was the father from day one. I had filed for a blood test when she was just a couple months, and he did everything he could to avoid the test. And then the final time that we went to court for the child support, he showed me the picture of the test results, and it was his brother that had actually taken the test. The judge just pretty much just ruled that since he was going through the trouble of avoiding the blood test, that he must be the father, so he went ahead and ordered him to pay child support.
Wow.
So how long did you believe your ex was Miss Gutierrez's father?
Up until the point, really, where she did another paternity test with him on her own.
He paid for a home paternity test. A few weeks later, he called me, and he sounded real mad. He said, "You're no percentage. There's no percent that you're my child. And I want all that money back from child support."
Wow.
So instead of saying, I'm sorry, or because I'm the child, I shouldn't have to go through it.
So when he gave you that information, did you get any closure from it?
No, because I still felt like that could have been a lie. And not knowing from the beginning that he couldn't have anything to do
And
with
because he sent someone else the first time,
me. Yes.
his brother, to take the test, who's to say he would not try that again? So when did you find out about Mr. McKenna?
A few years back, she had told me another possibility, which was his name.
You've never met him?
No.
Not till today.
Not until today.
Yes, ma'am.
So what was your relationship, Mr. McKenna, like with her mother?
Well, I met Larissa about 29 years ago, and I went to a nightclub, and I was out on the floor dancing, and I was getting my groove on, and I felt this little hand wrap around my waist, and I turned around and looked, and there was this beautiful lady there dancing with me, and, we spent time together, you know what I'm saying? And she came up for a weekend. She spent with me pretty much the whole time together up until the end of December, when I got called and went overseas.
When did you find out you could potentially be Ms. Gutierrez's biological father?
Last week.
So, Mr. McKenna.
Yes, ma'am.
After you've heard some of today's testimony, do you believe you could be, or do you believe you are Ms. Gutierrez's biological father?
Initially, I thought no, but now I don't know. That's the thing. And I hope today turns out that I am, so she don't have to look no further. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. I can't make up for 20-some years, but if you are, I'll start today. I promise. That's all I can do. That's all I can do.
So this is the first time you've ever laid eyes on this beautiful woman.
I've seen pictures, since last week, I spent the whole time trolling on Facebook like, oh my God, is this my baby? Could this be my baby? You know what I'm saying? Trying to compare to my other two daughters. I truly hope it turns out that I am, so she don't have to continue going on with this. But I just want to spend from today on loving my child.
And there is, unfortunately, still confusion because there's also Mr. Bryson.
Right.
Who we know is also a possible father. Right. So, Ms. Gutierrez, tell me how you found out about Mr. Bryson. How did he come into the picture? How did...
She said, I know who your father is. It's Delane. And I was like, who's Delane? Like, where did he come from? And then I asked my Mr. Brown, Perry, about it. And then he started telling me, you guys have the same hands. Y'all have the same skin problems. And, that I knew that was your dad all along. Your mom just always denied to me, saying that wasn't your dad, it was the ex.
Really? So, Ms. Sullivan, are there similarities? Did you know this?
Yes, Your Honor, I did. He was the one that I thought mostly could be her father because the similarities were there, the skin tone and the temper. And I've always been ashamed to even admit to anybody that I had that time with him. So I never admitted it to anybody.
Did you ever get a DNA test with Mr. Brown?
No, I never got a DNA test with him. When I met him, I had already been to the doctor like the week or week and a half before, and that's when I found out that I was pregnant.
And Mr. Brown actually submitted a statement to the court. It says, I met Larissa Gutierrez in the spring of 1991. We were together the first night of meeting each other. After about 2 weeks, she informed me that she was pregnant by a guy she was dating. I struggled with dating a woman that was pregnant. Either leave Larissa and this beautiful baby girl or swallow my pride and be the best daddy I could be for her as if she was my own flesh and blood. One look at her made my choice very easy. My love will never change for you, Parrish. I will love you unconditionally till the day that I die. Love, Dad.
She had told me when I was younger, when I would ask, he could be your dad, playing with me because, I was pregnant, but who knows if the doctor was right. And then it was to the point where my kids started to look like him. So I was really confused.
And I know that hurts you. And you deserve to know. So before I go to the results, are you confident that one of these envelopes is going to reveal that one of these potential men is your daughter's biological father?
I'm confident that the answer will be in one of the envelopes.
And that also depends upon if the ex actually took the test the proper way and did not attempt to defraud the testing process again. Jerome, may I have the envelopes, please? The first result is for Stacey McKinney. In the case of Gutierrez versus Sullivan, when it comes to 26-year-old Parrish Gutierrez, it has been determined by this court. Mr. McKinney, you are not her father.
Wow.
I could see that you were almost hoping she was.
Yeah, I was.
I'm sorry I could not deliver the result you wanted, but in this courtroom, we deliver the truth.
Right.
The next result is for Mr. Bryson. In the case of Gutierrez versus Sullivan, when it comes to 26-year-old Parrish Gutierrez, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Bryson is her father.
What's your answer?
Ms. Williams. Williams, you say you are furious that Mr. Glover is denying paternity of your 10-month-old son, Ralph. You claim Mr. Glover is an irresponsible man-child who would rather play mind games than be a father. And you intend to prove paternity today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Glover, you say Ms. Williams is a promiscuous groupie who hatched a complicated plan to trap you into accepting her child in order to cash in on your rap career.
Yes.
You say there is no way you fathered her child. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Williams, what do you mean by he'd rather play mind games?
Well, Your Honor, let me tell you about Mr. Glover right here. He plays a lot of mind games, and when he wants to go out and do things,
Hold on, one at a time.
when he wants to go out and be with other women and lie and cheat, then he starts to argue and say, well, hey, that's not my baby anyway. I don't have to sit around.
I want to understand the nature of your relationship. How did you two meet?
I was doing videos. I'm a famous entertainer, so I was doing videos in apartments that she was staying in. You know, so everybody know me around.
You a famous entertainer?
Yeah, I'm a famous entertainer. City, state to state. I'm everywhere.
I know that's right.
You know.
With your bling on and everything.
Because I play no games.
I know
At the
that's
same
right.
time, she played too
He
many
play
games.
a lot of games, Your Honor.
Stop trying to ride my fame, man. Just be real. You just trying to ride my
Ride
fame.
your
Be
fame.
real.
Nobody wants to
Be
ride.
real.
What rapper is you, Ralph?
I'm a rapper in the city and city, state to state riding.
You're an irresponsible man who needs to man up and take care of your child. And we're going to prove today that you are the father of Ralph.
But first thing, you got to make sure this is my child.
I'm
First
for
thing,
sure.
what you mean?
You knew you was for sure when you made him December 22nd.
I made
it was
him-
a planned thing.
All right.
You taught us so many.
Hold on.
Anything.
So I still haven't gotten to the nature of this relationship.
The nature of this relationship, when we first met,
It
we
ain't
were
no nature.
friends.
You were friends.
After he discovered that I was something that he wanted, he took me off the market knowing that I had a whole nother sugar daddy taking care of me.
Oh.
Why she trying to ride the wave? Look, don't ride
Ride
my
the
wave.
wave and you
my
planning
wave.
the baby. You planning the baby because
ain't
the mind
planning no
games
baby.
kicked in. He
All
didn't
right.
come
So
home
I
that
want to
day.
understand this. Did you break it off with your sugar daddy?
No.
And they prove right there that ain't my baby, because she ain't break it out with nobody. She was fumbling around all in the city. I don't know who baby that is.
He was
That coulda
playing
been-
mind games telling me he was going back to school, but he was making it work with his ex.
I was making it work with my
Oh,
ex.
I went back on the
My
market.
daddy died, Your Honor. My dad and my ex-daddy died a day apart, right? So when my ex and my daddy died a day apart, I came to comfort her. I'm hearing so much stuff about her going on in the neighborhood. She was talking to this dude, that dude. I'm like, look, when I did find out she was pregnant, I'm like, it can't be my baby. She doing all these things and got sugar daddies and all
Correct.
that. Come on, be real with yourself. You know that ain't
Make
my
it
child.
So hold on. I want to get this. Miss Williams, at that time, then you say you went back on the market.
I went back on the market because he was lying like he was also going to school.
And she gonna stay on the market.
His
That's
phone
what she gonna stay
have
on the
called me numerous of times with the moans and groans in the background talking about, baby, I love you, and so far on.
Wait, the moans and the groans in the background
Of the sex communication.
of the sex communication.
And he say that was the radio. I know the difference in the radio and the moan and
Wait,
groan.
how did you hear that?
His phone mistakenly called me.
Oh!
Sit on there being nosy and listen.
That's a butt dial of a monumental proportion.
Big proportions.
That's a naked butt dial.
But she
Yeah, that's a
understand-
naked butt down.
She knew
You
the type of person-
absolutely
She knew the
correct,
type
Your
of person I was when she first met me, Your Honor. She knew I really was no one-woman man.
You
She knew
was a-
that when she first met me.
You weren't a one-woman's man when I met you, but you wanted to be a one-woman's man once you found out what type of good woman I was, is why you took me off the market,
how
Ralph.
you was a good woman and you run around with several other different men?
Because you wanted to put a baby in me. You came back crying and moaning ground once you found out
I
that
don't-
didn't work on the other side. The green wasn't so green over there.
How I know how you know I put a baby in you? How you know if one of these dudes you been
Because when we
talking to?
conceived Ralph Glover III, you came home and said, we're gonna make this work. And we did not use protection, and we normally do.
Only reason.
Hold on, let's just pause. You broke up when he was consoling his ex. You
Correct.
went back on the market. So you admittedly were having sex with other people then. You were back on the market doing what you want to do.
No, that's not correct. I wasn't having sex. I just got full time with my sugar daddy.
No dude don't give you no $3,900 just to be talking to you. And who wants you
You knew
like
he
that?
was giving me this
Who wants you like that?
$3,900. Insecure.
Hold on.
Keep
about
the
the
man up and
situation.
take care of his responsibility and stop making excuses.
How I want you
Let's talk one at a time. You all like got a little routine. It's like back and forth. Little blue on, little bow, little hair bow, match your little tuxedo shirt.
She love this style. Like,
Yeah, I love
Your
it.
Honor. Your Honor. He knew
love
that he
it.
couldn't find no woman as good as me on the market.
what's up.
It's why he came crying back. If he could find anything better than me, he would have never put himself in a predicament to even be the father of Ralph
you
Glover
chasing me
III.
around the hood.
You got back together and you found out you were pregnant.
Correct.
When you found out you were pregnant, you told him. You said, hey, Ralph, I'm pregnant. How did you tell him? Take me to that day.
I told him, no, he knew before me. He said, you know you pregnant. When I went to the doctor and found out, he was like, yeah, we gonna be a family. Oh, I hope it's a boy, because he already got a daughter. So it went on. He was going to doctor visits. We moved out of town. We moved to a whole nother place to make our family work. And then that's when Ralph got very insecure. I was always cheating. If I didn't answer the phone, I was cheating.
All right, so now pause, Ms. Williams. Mr. Glover, I want you to respond. You are saying that you're convinced that during these times you were apart, when you were broken up, she was also having sex with other people.
Yes, ma'am.
And so how is it you know that? Why are you so convinced?
Because when me and her, we started talking or whatever, but when we got back together, end up, she left, and when she left and she came back, she started, she just was always defensive about everything. She always had an attitude about everything. And then when she let me finish, when she came back, I was thinking like, it always rolled the back of my mind. That's why I said.
Riding in the back of your mind because you were oohing and eyeing.
Look, but at the same time, it always ran in the back of my mind. It was something about this situation. Because if she never let me do it, all of a sudden, she trying to pin the baby on me so she can have this mind right
No,
here.
I
'Cause she know
agreed
she wanted this
to
mind
let you
since
finish.
the first day
It was
she met
your
me.
decision.
Since the first day she met me, she always wanted me. She always chased me around every city, every spot I ever went to. She always, where you going to? Where you gonna be at? She always been that type of person. So that just let me know right then.
You
she wanted
always
me
try to
finish
run
this.
around and use
real.
your rap career and try to say that I want to trap you. That's why we here today, to prove you wrong, that I'm not trapping you.
Yeah,
Now,
we
you
gotta
knew
prove
from the
that
beginning,
today, then.
Ralph, when
We
you
gotta
first
prove
met
that
me
today.
now, I was a good hustler
Oh,
getting
man.
my own good money. And I don't need you for nothing. Us being together is a decision. It's not nothing that I need.
Be real.
We being real
it ain't nothing that you
really
need, but I am something that you
So,
want. That's
Ms.
what it is.
Williams, is it your testimony that you were not sleeping with this other man?
Correct.
You weren't sleeping with any other man?
Correct.
Mr. Glover,
Yes, ma'am.
you brought a witness.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to hear from this witness. Jerome, can you please escort Ms. Rachel Nolan into the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor. Hey, come with me.
State your name for the court.
Rachel Nolan.
Ms. Nolan, you are Mr. Glover's sister.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are here because you have testimony regarding her relationship with this sugar daddy.
Baby. When it comes to a sugar daddy, a daddy ain't gonna be there unless you giving him some sugar.
That's
That's
incorrect.
right.
Oh,
How you gonna say that?
so
when
do
got
you
that?
know if she was giving him some sugar?
For one, her and my brother, they got into a verbal disagreement at the end of December 2016.
Yeah.
Jaleesa called me. She asked me, could I go by their place to pick her up some clothing? So I said, of course, yeah, I'll go by your house. Send me the address. Shoot me the address. And I brought some footage of the location.
You brought an exhibit.
Yes, ma'am.
Please step up and explain to the court what this evidence shows.
Okay. This is the hotel of the location that Jaleesa sent me. So I called her once I reached the hotel. She said, well, I'm coming down. So once she came out the front door, which is under this foyer, this is my vehicle. I then pulled under the foyer. Jaleesa got into the vehicle. We had a brisk talk. She was talking. She looked distressed, not stressed. Looked like she had just been roughhousing. So then, after she got her clothes off the back seat, she exited the vehicle very fast. I got to this edge, looked to the right. Dun, 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 dun. This is the vehicle that belongs to the man in question.
Oh.
Sad situation.
That's incorrect, Your Honor.
That's very correct. If it was
So
the test I
you
passed.
think she wouldn't let you up into the room with her because this sugar daddy was up there?
You got the winning question.
I didn't let her in
Yes, ma'am.
because I wasn't all the way checked in. He was only paying for this hotel because my debit card was left off
You can
at
pay
the
for a
house.
hotel over the phone with a debit card. He doesn't have to be there.
Me and Ralph was in an altercation. I left quick, fast, and in a hurry. I didn't have time to grab my debit card. It wasn't inside of my purse.
So it's your testimony that this sugar daddy was only there to help you get this room, but he never came up to the room and you were not intimate with him.
Correct.
So how close in proximity was this day to the day, Mr. Glover, you say she was trying to trap you?
She let me her the next day, so I know this is a lie. That's why I say I cut the cake right there. It ain't my baby. We can go on leave now.
Yeah, because we was already arguing about him not coming home the day before.
It's a sad situation. You a sad person.
Now you
yourself.
sitting up here denying all this about this baby when you been there the whole 9 months. So why all of a sudden he in question only when you mad?
Well, let's be clear.
And how can you say something and you threw the baby shower? If you was in doubt, why did you proceed with this?
My point exactly. I look at you like a sister, and I'm not finna step in y'all business and tell my brother something if I hadn't got correct facts with you. I'm not.
Well,
gonna
you
tell
shouldn't
him
have
nothing
never
off of
claimed him
And
if
keep
you
it
was
real.
in doubt.
You told me that I wasn't the father. Just
All
be
right.
real. You
All right,
told me.
hold
I
on.
wasn't the
Let's
You
get
kept
some
saying he wasn't
order.
yours and accusing
Let's
me.
get some order. When I start talking, you stop talking. Y'all got so much to say. Kills me. They get up in this courtroom, all of a sudden everybody want to have conversation with one another. If y'all were gonna do that, y'all should have had conversation about getting a DNA test and figuring out if the child's father is Mr. Glover or not, and you wouldn't even need to be here.
Well, I ain't
Now
the one
all
in
of a
doubt.
sudden we get into
He
this.
should've did that.
Hold on. Now all of a sudden we get in court, everybody got something to say. The point is, you're saying, Mr. Glover, that for 10 months, this child is named after you.
Yeah, man.
But for 10 months, every time you hold this beautiful baby, in the back of your mind, you thinking, is it not?
It's
But
always
when it's
stuck in the
not,
back of my mind. When she
it's not
told
in
me the
question.
baby was my baby, it's automatically stuck in the back of my
She
mind.
told you the baby wasn't
Yeah,
yours?
she told me the
When
baby
was
wasn't
that?
mine. That's around the same time we was getting into it and all the stuff like that. Yeah,
I told
it was
him
around
that in
time.
February that it wasn't his baby.
And then my thing is,
Why did I
would
tell
you
him it
do
wasn't
that?
his baby?
Why would you tell
Because
him it's not
every
his
day
baby?
he talking about when he want to leave the house, it's not his baby. So I told him, yeah, it's not your baby then.
Well, you know you can't unring that bell.
You right.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yeah, around when I signed the birth certificate, she looked me in my eye and said, do I really want to sign the birth certificate? I knew something was in the back of her head. Like, it was something that didn't really meet the eye. So I think in her heart, she really wanted to tell me the baby wasn't mine. It just been a whole lot going on.
What if Ralph Glover III is not your biological son? What are you gonna do?
I'm throwing the tools. I really just can't because she'll hurt me in a situation that I ever been hurt before. Like, and it's just being real about the whole situation.
So, Ms. Williams, you maintain throughout this hearing that you weren't intimate with anybody else.
Correct.
And so the fact that you were caught in a hotel with the other man there, you admit to all of that, but you still say, I didn't sleep with this man?
Correct, Your Honor.
Sound like a lot of me.
You know what? I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I'm ready for the results.
After these results, I need an apology from both of y'all.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Williams versus Glover Jr., when it comes to 10-month-old Ralph Glover III, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Glover, you are the father.
So where's my apology? Clap this apology on over this way. Come on. Clout it. I'm listening.
Hey, you gotta stop
Is you
lying.
gonna man up and apologize
I'm a
for
man
all
that
the
will take care of my
denying
baby,
my child?
but that don't mean I'm still gonna be with you though.
You don't have to be with me,
take care
but
of
you
my
gonna be
baby.
with him, but you gonna be on
Take care
child
of my
support.
baby. I
But
love
you don't
him
do
from day
what's
one. I love him from day one.
Listen.
Being
glad
a
this
good
is my
man
baby.
has nothing to do with being a good father. Visits is not being a good father. Making sure needs are taken care of and visits is being a good father.
Well, listen, the real work begins now because you have to co-parent.
You're right.